Going to be playing some of these guys for you on Saturday night. It's a great Mexican band called Afterglow. We do a metal show here on MMS. It's called 2 Hours to Midnight. Saturday nights, me and Corey Roddick and Pat Butler. It's all brand new metal. It's good old classic stuff. New music this Saturday night from Code Orange, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. New stuff from Enforced, Project Renegade, local music from Terranoct and One Life All In. And then some classic stuff in there, too. So that'll be Saturday night, 10 to midnight here on The Buzzard. And you can always submit a request or your own band to htm@wmms.com. And all I tell people is send me a WAV file, make it clean, and if I like it, I'll play it. That simple. A lot of bands have sent me stuff that I just doesn't rub me the right way. And so that's what it is. I have to like it. And if I do, I'll play it. And that's it. I played you a little bit earlier, kind of joined that live press conference that the Coast Guard was having about that submersible. But we just kind of dipped in a little bit, kind of midway through. But they have confirmed that they found it demolished on the the ocean floor. And so the 5 passengers are dead. They found parts of the missing Titan.
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic. You mean compared to the actual Titanic disaster?
No, this is more recent, so it's more sad.
There was some catastrophic failure, and
those empathy charts.
Well, you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop saying it.
Catastrophic failure, and that the vessel.
Does that not help?
No, saying, look at me being empathetic.
Oh, okay.
I thought everybody was talking about speaking things into the universe to make them real all the time.
No, that's different. That's like,
that's different.
I hope I get this job. Not, well, I guess you could.
I hope I'm being empathetic.
Right.
Catastrophic failure of the pod and the vessel imploded, which 6,000 PSI at that depth.
Well,
I mean, that happens in like a second.
It's like 3,000 PSI times 2.
Yes. And they disappeared Sunday about 900 miles off the coast of Cape Cod.
Okay, but what was the banging that we were hearing for, like, wasn't there?
Well, they were hoping that was these people, but it was so rhythmic, they heard it like every half hour. And so I think they had maybe come to they were hoping it was them.
Okay.
But they also said it could just be
something
noises from that, because they were trying to search such a large area. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like they just found them too late, obviously. But I'm surprised that they found them for the area that they were trying to search.
I mean, they probably went, like, they went too deep. It collapsed, and that's why they weren't able to find, because there's
no beacon.
Yeah, there's no beacon or anything because it got crushed.
Yeah, and that's why the families are upset, too, because they're like 8 hours went by with no communication before anybody called the Coast Guard or something. So they're like, that was 8 hours that, I don't know. This is bad news for this company. It's bad news for the families. It's bad news for Elon Musk. Because
was he part of it?
Well, his Starlink company was the one that was providing some of the communications for this ocean, whatever that company is called. So it would have required a miracle for those people to come out of that alive. So what, Poundcake?
I think it was called Ocean Gate.
Ocean Gate. I think you're right.
But that's a very suspicious name because everyone was thinking it was like some type of conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to make a movie about...
Oh, I see.
They're going to make a movie about this, and it's going to have, like, Titanic, but then just the NIC is just going to be faded away, and it's going to be Titan. And it's just going to have the picture of the little submersible looking at the shadow of the Titanic in the background. And it's going to be a movie about how they wanted to be a part of the movie of Titanic.
Starring Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, right? He always does those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they need to cast. You need to cast a bunch of guys as middle-aged billionaires.
Mm-hmm. Oh, at least they didn't have to anticipate the death. Like they didn't just wait till their oxygen ran out. Because I'm like, all right, who? Never mind. I'm not gonna say.
No, but it's the interim in between when they first lose communication and getting ever closer to what was going to be their eventual demise, where they're like, oh my God, because that's a really small There were 5 people in there.
Well, I think about the same thing with Kobe Bryant and his daughter. Like when they were in the helicopter, they had to wait. The helicopter didn't just explode. They spiraled around for a little bit before they went down. So you think your last moments, like I'm going to die in a helicopter crash, or like Aaliyah, she was going up, and then it just started to decline. And I'm sure the pilot was like, I'm gonna say a little prayer, but it doesn't look good, guys. So stay with me.
Well, because at least with a plane, you think that there's the possibility that maybe you can land it. If a helicopter starts spinning out, those are completely different physics. Well, actually, very unlikely that if a helicopter goes down and crashes, that you're going to walk away from that.
Well, I think the opposite. I think a plane is just a plane can't hover. So if it goes down, there's a bunch of trees there. It's more
right,
cumbersome.
but it could conceivably glide. I mean, there are planes. I've been in Los Angeles completely coincidentally. I don't have to say that, but I will. I've been in Los Angeles on 2 separate occasions where Harrison Ford has crashed a plane in a park not far from where I was staying.
Okay. And
so this guy's like, maybe I shouldn't be up there flying anymore. You can conceivably land a plane depending on what size and whatever.
But I think about a helicopter.
But a helicopter, I mean, there's different things going on there with the rotors, and if that thing starts spinning out, it's not like you can glide in a helicopter. My understanding of it, I'm not a pilot, obviously, but
I'm just thinking a helicopter can get caught in a tree. Like you don't have to necessarily die. If a plane crashes, you're pretty much dead. If you don't get crushed, it'll be caught on fire. A helicopter, it's like not that wide and not that heavy. A tree could like intercept that fall, and you could possibly be okay.
Intercept your fall?
Yes.
Well, plus, weren't they flying like over Calabasas or something? So they weren't flying over an area with trees, Kobe and his daughter. They hit like the ground.
I thought they hit a mountain, like the side of a mountain.
Did they?
Yeah, I think it was the side of a mountain.
But it was just an area with bare earth, right? Like there weren't trees or anything like that. I don't know. Bad news all the way around.
Hey guys, it's the Goose. Mary, I just heard something very interesting, that you have a show at Hilarities on July 15th. Well, guess what? There's something else going on. It's the Goose's birthday, baby. And I couldn't think of a better gift than a pair of tickets. Love you guys. Bye.
The Goose didn't say how old he's going to be, though.
Or who to put the tickets under.
The
Mr. Goose.
Also, tickets.
Goose, comma, Mr.
You can buy your own tickets.
Wow. She does hate you.
Well, I don't know anything about him.
The Goose calls us all the time.
I don't know anything about
him. Hey,
him.
guys, it's the Goose. I don't either, but I know he hits us up all the time. Hey, guys. And he never asks for anything. Here's a guy who calls just offering pro bono of his time and his talent and his treasure. And he goes, hey, it just so happens, so excited, that a Mary Santora show, the Mary Santora, is going to be performing on a night that falls on his birthday. And it couldn't have been easy for him to reach deep down and say, man, I'd love a pair of tickets. What does Mary say? Buy them yourself, sucker.
Oh, all right, you'll have 2
Buy
tickets.
them yourself.
Waiting for the Goose at will call.
Don't lie. Don't just shine him on.
I also don't even know what show he wants to come to.
Well, now he'll hit you up.
Goosenheimer?
This was just his first salvo, right, in the negotiations.
Did he say
He's hitting us up.
There's 2 shows on Saturday.
I mean, how many Gooses can there be with birthdays on July 15th?
Thousands, probably.
Wow.
It's a big world, man.
I guess so.
You don't know everything.
Definitely not. Well, there you go, Goose. Got your foot in the door, homie.
Goose.
I need more information.
Maybe it's short for Guzman.
Oh, Luis Guzman.
Luis Guzman. Anybody watch the TikTok of Chinese people talking about how much they love white people food?
No.
About white people food is the new trend in China, where they're trying food that they call white people food.
Meatloaf.
Like raw salads and boiled eggs, and they're kind of just showing people, basically they're like stock photos of people meal prepping. And so it's vegetables and it's, raw salads and boiled eggs or sliced ham and chicken breast. And so people are cooking what they're calling white people meals. What you would normally see if you follow like a fitness influencer. Here's my meal prep for the week. It's broccoli and hard-boiled eggs and chicken. And Chinese TikTokers are posting these photos and kind of making their own and calling it white people food. One of the guys said that his white people lunch of broccoli, steamed chicken breast, hard-boiled egg, and brown rice, he called it lunch of the suffering.
It is, dude.
I mean, Chinese food's pretty good.
I love Chinese food. It's probably my favorite.
But it
food.
is also Americanized Chinese food, too.
Right,
That's
that
probably
we
why
love,
it's
yeah.
so good. Yeah.
Like that is like my go-to. Before, like pizza, I don't really eat. I love pizza when I have it, but I honestly don't have it that often. Mexican, I have like, tacos and stuff almost on a regular basis. That's really good when I have it. But Chinese food, I could choose several different Chinese restaurants, and I like them all. It just, nothing quite hits like Chinese
You just
food.
don't ever want to go back in the kitchen.
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I know I'm eating something I'm not supposed to, but
Somebody
I don't
else
care.
pointed out, somebody posted a photo of a Lunchable and said that the point of eating boring white people food like crackers and sliced cheese and ham is to, quote, understand what it feels like to be dead. Maybe there's something lost in translation. I don't know. But the food was so bad that it made this Chinese TikToker realize how alive he was.
Aw, you're welcome.
And then conversely, there's some people who are big fans of it. They're like, hey, it's a lot easier to make than typical Chinese dishes, so it saves them time cooking. It gives them more time to do their work under the lash, probably. I've never been to China. My middle brother works for this huge engineering firm, and they used to have him, because he's like a managerial type or something. He used to travel all the time, and they send him to China at least once a year, and he's like, the food's not bad, but it's nothing like over here.
What does he mean by that? Nothing.
not
Well,
Chinese
that
food that
native
we have.
Chinese food, it's like variations of it. I mean, listen, who's making Chinese food? Chinese people in restaurants. So it's not like they're making something up. But there are a lot of things that go way back to like the first wave of Chinese immigrants to America that probably changed their food to make it more palatable, and that's what we eat now. But he was like, it's just a lot. There are.
What's the dim sum place over here? Because I feel like
Li
that's
Wah.
Li Wah. Yeah, that's more authentic.
Dude, there is no Chinese food around Cleveland like on Payne Avenue. Like, ooh.
Yeah, but dim sum literally in Chinese means something like empty stomach or, so it's not my vibe.
I don't like it because the menu is not in English, and I'm
Just
allergic.
point to a number.
I'm allergic to shellfish.
Oh.
No, I get that.
So
For
there's
sure.
like a language barrier between the servers because they just are pushing around carts and you point at
Yeah, you
stuff
go,
off the
Give
cart.
me that.
And I'm like, I can't. This is too much. I'm a gambler. I am not that big of a gambler.
Right.
I can't do that.
You're cured.
I am cured. You're right.
Figured it out.
You talk about white people food. My white vegetarian boyfriend tried a piece of the steak that I made the other night, which was cooked perfectly, by the way. And he ate it and said it had too much seasoning on it. I was like, I hate everything about you, first of all, because you don't.
Wait, how do you
eat-
know? So it wasn't cooked perfectly for him.
No, but I'm
Was
saying like
seasoned is what he thought.
he's saying that yes.
What did you rub it?
I put salt, pepper, garlic, and it wasn't in excess of any of it. And he was like, I don't know, it just seems like it's got too much seasoning. I was like, too much flavor, and he
Well,
like
his
he
taste
like
buds are off.
laughed. And I was like, when's the last time you have cooked a piece of meat, Brian? I need to know. Oh no, I'm not saying it's like tough or anything.
See, I grew up when my dad would grill. I grew up thinking a steak was supposed to be like the consistency of a shoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of how my parents
So
would
when
make
I got
steaks.
older,
It was-
and like Gwen and I would go, I mean, she would get like a medium rare steak. Now it's a little bit, that's too.
I like medium.
wait, you didn't
Two-
start eating medium rare steaks until you got with Gwen in your 30s?
I think so.
They've
I
only been together
think
10.
so.
What? You've been married 10 years.
Yeah, but you've been
Because
together
well,
for
we've
long.
been together since 2008.
Yeah,
So we've been together 15 years. But here's
you,
the thing.
You were in your 30s then.
I was in my mid-30s when I moved back home and met her. But here's the thing. Before that, I wasn't eating a lot of steaks because I so closely associated with that.
And you're
It
like, I
didn't-
don't like steak.
Right. So she would go, just get, a lot of restaurants, they default to medium.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ask you how you want it. They do it medium, right? And I was like, but then you have it and you go, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I've wasted so much time.
My cousin got a medium steak, and they overcooked it and sent him back, and brought him out of like a one that was cooked properly.
Ooh.
And I was like, but it's all red in the middle. Like, I didn't even understand that you could have a steak that way. I was probably 11 or 12 years old. And he's like, just try a bite. And I was like, okay. And that's when I was converted. I was like, what have we been doing here?
What is this?
Mom, why are you giving us this food that's so overcooked?
See, we were too poor to ever have steak. We always had like
And they're like-
casseroles.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you know,
isn't there like a cheap cut of meat that like you could like get Flash Foods or something?
it's
or-
not
Very.
steak.
No?
Not to feed 7 people.
Yeah, that's true.
No. We had a lot of like mixture dishes because they could just pour whatever noodles and whatever was about to go bad in the fridge into a dish and bake it and be like, here
Like
it is.
a can of chop suey vegetables and
Yeah.
yeah.
Like one of our staple meals that to this day I still love, but I can't eat anymore, is it was just a box of macaroni and cheese, can of tuna fish, can of peas. That was it.
All raw.
All raw. Don't cook any of it. You
I
spread
like-
the seasoning
I
on.
like the
Actually,
crunch,
You know
all
what
right?
you do? You don't even spread the seasoning, the cheese packet. You just do lines of it like cocaine.
Yeah.
No,
So
but
you couldn't even get like a skirt steak or some
no,
cheap
not
cut.
for 7 people.
Wow.
No, there's no
All
way.
right.
Because my mom didn't work. We had 7 people on one factory worker's salary. My dad might have made, I don't know, 40 or 50 grand a year
Yeah.
to feed 7. That's so many people. And then
Yeah.
once my parents got divorced, it was all frozen food after that. I lived off the microwave.
Right.
But yeah, no, you're not eating steak.
Dude, I don't know. Why so many kids? Was it the Lord will provide or what?
I don't.
Lord
I think
wasn't
they were
providing
just-
steak.
Leaving it in feels good.
Probably that. I don't know.
Yeah, of
I don't
course
think
it
there
feels
was a lot of
good, but
family planning
Paying
happening.
for everything doesn't feel so great.
Yeah.
Well, he's a
See-
gambler. He's like pulling
We'll see
prey.
what happens.
The only time in my childhood that I remember having steak would be at like Ponderosa or Hometown Buffet.
God, I love both those.
And I
places.
didn't know that those people were like, oh, that's not a quality steak. I'm like, well, those are the only type of steaks I've had.
It's Ponderosa Steakhouse. Thank you.
Yeah, I was
Sizzler.
Like, what do you mean? It's a steak. They're like, that's not like that's from a different part. I'm like, how? It's a steak.
I worked in fine dining for too long to ever send food back because I remember being in the kitchen, even as nice as this place was, I had to wear like a tuxedo as a waiter. And I remember the cooks one time pulling out a giant tray of like prime rib that they were, and it was they were letting the runoff go into the garbage and the whole thing slid off, all the prime ribs. They pulled them out one by one, rinsed them off, put them back on the thing, put them in the thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm never, ever sending food back. Now, that could happen before it came out to me in the first place, but I would never send anything back. Arrest
Yeah,
him.
I'm in the you should get what you pay for. Like it's got to take.
I
a
am
lot,
too, but I'm not rolling the dice on
Here's-
what's going on back in the kitchen.
But
I know
it's-
too much.
It's got to. I've worked
So do
in
you.
restaurants
That's what I'm
my
saying.
whole-
So do you.
But here's the thing: is that I think that that's an extenuating circumstance. That most restaurants you go to, they've got health codes, and they're not trying to get shut down. They want you to be happy. So, like, if I order a medium steak and it comes out well done, I'm sending that back. If I order,
Yeah, but I can't unsee what I saw. Is my point.
right. But if you're gonna eat a well done steak when you're paying $55 for it,
I'll drench it in A1.
I will not. I will not do that. Or like if I order,
I'll
a
just keep asking for more accoutrement. I say, A1, homie, give me some horseradish, blue cheese.
On
whatever.
the other hand, though, if I order a salad with no onions and it comes with onions in it, I'm not sending that back.
You
I'll
mean like
pick-
with a pizza?
Yes, I'll pick the onions out when the salad is a side dish to a pizza. It depends on how expensive the meal is. If I'm paying $100 for a meal,
You want it the way you want it.
yes,
Yeah.
I want it cooked properly.
It's like I'll say, could I, if I'm like at a place that sells like soul food or something, I'll go, could I get a thing of potato salad?
A little
But could you
less
pull
soul,
out the
please.
onions, please?
I don't believe in soul. Can I just have some food? Because there's no such thing as soul.
Right.
Oh, I believe in soul food. I ate that growing up. Soul food, I believe in. I don't believe in a soul.
So then where does it come from?
The soul food?
Mm-hmm.
It comes from the heart.
Oh, so the
Comes
soul
from
and the
the
heart are the same.
No, I'm not Aristotle. All the feelings come from the heart. No. The brain. Anyway. Good. Hey, I've got to take a break. I will have Guardians tickets for you July 3rd. If you're going to be partying for the weekend, you can get yourself to see them play the Braves, you and 3 pals, Braves Guardians on the 3rd. I don't know what kind of extra they're doing that night, but we'll send you to the game after the break here. 35192 if you want to text for anything else.